シュン。
兄さん。
覚えているか。消滅したデスクイン島から帰ってきた時、お前と話したことがあったよな。シュン、ましてやお前はセイント。体の中のコスモを燃やせ。そしてつまらん宿命の鎖など断ち切ってみせろ。
分かった兄さん、見ていてください。よみがえれデビラちゃん。
Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing another unboxing, and here we have a statue from the manufacturer's Prime1Studio. It is a 1/4 scale polystone statue of the character Shun, or as it's named, Andromeda Shun Final Bronze Cloth Bonus Version. From the series Saint Seiya, or Knights of the Zodiac. So before we actually take Shun out of the box, before we take the statue out of the box, just in case you didn't know,聖闘士星矢, or Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac, was actually a manga which was originally published and serialized in Shonen Jump Weekly in 1985 by the mangaka Kurumada Masami. Which the series also has an anime adaptation which was originally aired in 1986 by Toei Animation, going by a similar name, Knights of the Zodiac or Saint Seiya. Which this franchise also has gotten movies, which consists of 4, which I won't name because it's gonna take me a while to name all of them, which I'll show you brief pictures in the back. And yes, there's actually alternative versions of this series, and also has mangas included for those, but I'm not gonna delve too far into that. So I'll read the names of each series individually for you guys. There is Saint Seiya Lost Canvas, Saint Seiya Santia Show, a movie adaptation that goes by the name Legend of Sanctuary, which there was actually a more modern adaptation of Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac produced by Netflix, but the same studio's Toei Animations back in 2014. And yes, there is a live action movie, but I'm gonna just keep that out. We're just gonna focus on the anime. The box is actually too large to rotate in 360, so I'm just showing you guys close-up shots of the box of each angle. So as I stated, this is the final bronze cloth version, which someone told me in another, when I did Shiryu's unboxing, that this is the final bronze cloth, which yes it is, but I was mentioning that they have also other armor, but in terms of bronze cloth, this is the final. So I just wanted to clarify that if anyone was confused with what I mentioned back in that video. I don't want to keep holding you guys back for too long, so let's just take Shun out the box and see how he looks. So as you can see here, it comes in 2 layers. As you can see here we have is the top layer, which has the swappable heads, the nebula chain with a bit of a sparkling flame effects, and also the Andromeda swirl. So you can see it is wrapped in packaging paper, or like thin paper, to protect it from, moving around too much. And here's the bottom layer, which is the bottom layer that also comes with the base, the whole body, little bit of flame effects, and also some of the armor and hands, which is also wrapped in like tissue paper, packaging paper, to prevent it from moving around and breaking during shipping. So let's just remove all these parts and see how they look up close. So just like every single statue that you do get an assembly instructions guide, which you get a better view of all of the parts that you do get at the top and the bottom layer without the tissue paper, which is pretty neat. And it also comes numbered, so you can actually follow the instruction. Which this is the bonus version, which comes and includes with the mangaka's art style of the character Shun's face design. And there is a caution here at the side, which says this product contains fragile pieces, which, yes, be careful when assembling this because there is really delicate parts in this. And when stuff usually can't bend in place, you can always use a hot blow gun to heat it up to be able to bend it a little with some parts. Here we have is the back side, which actually has step by step of how to assemble Shun together. So don't worry guys, we're gonna follow this step by step in the video, so you guys will also see the process of that. So as you can see here, it does have A, B, and C for the nebula chain, which I feel this is going to be a little bit more difficult to do. So as you can see, this does have a light up feature, which has an on and off switch. And here we have is the cable, which is a USB type C cable. And it does actually come with its own cable, so you don't need to worry. And yeah, besides that, let's just move on to the actual statue. So before we continue on, this is the bottom of the base of Shun. You can see it does have the cloth box. As you can see, it has the Andromeda design on it with a bit of stars, and you know, you do have the edition size number, which I'm covering it on purpose, but you do get the number there. So here we have is the side of the actual base, which looks really great, but I do notice with mine there's a little bit of like paint chips and stuff. Not chips on the base, but like the paint kind of peeled off, which is not really anything too bad, as long as it's not the actual, you know, statue. I don't really mind much, but it could have been avoided maybe. But yeah, but it looks really great. It really, you know, as you can see here, that we have is the button here, which you can't press when you connect it to light up the statue, and it's just like slight like a button. It feels a little bit delicate, so do be careful when clicking it. Don't put too much pressure on it. But yeah, I think they did a pretty nice job here on the base. It looks really great. It kind of like captures that old Roman type architecture of the way they modeled their like buildings and stuff. And here we have is like almost like a sparkling effect, you know, like let's say Shun is in battle and he's burning his cosmos, and it has all this effect destroying the ground, which looks really great. I kind of don't like the effects, and when I mean I don't like, I mean like I feel like I can break this because you can't actually move it around. It's stuck in place, so do be careful when moving this base, because I kind of felt like I was close to bumping into stuff and I'll be able to break it. So you can see it does have with holes, which we'll be placing some stuff on it. And but other than that, it looks really great. I do like it. But like I said, be careful with the little shard effects. And I'm talking about like this here as an example. These look really fragile, and I feel like if you do actually bump into something, this will break. But the rocks are actually pretty painted decently. It has a mixture of grayish, purplish type sparkly little effect on it, which looks really great. So here, as you can see, it does have a little aux cord here on this little section, which is supposed to light up the Andromeda galaxy swirl that we do get, which I have something to say about that, but I'll say later in the video. But it said actually in the instructions guide that this piece here is actually fragile, so when you are connecting it, do be careful because you can break it, I would assume, if they're saying that it's fragile. So do be careful with that if you get your hands on this piece. But besides that, you can see we have this more rock and sparkling effect, and like I said, I think it's supposed to represent Shun burning his cosmos and destroying everything around him while he's getting ready to strike with his nebula chain. So there's not really much else I can show you guys besides this. Here's a more of a top view of the base. It looks pretty great, but besides the shocking effects or the flame effects on the side, nothing really much else to show you besides it being just rocks. So let's just move on to the main actual figure or statue. So when you are connecting this, do be careful. They both connect at the same time, so you do have to connect both left and right legs at the same time. But like I said, be cautious when connecting this and not put pressure on it, because you have a chance of chipping the actual base. So just be careful. have is Andromeda Shun's body, or should I say his final bronze cloth armor. I gotta say, I really love the way Shun's armor looks, or almost all the characters like Shiryu and Iki, or in terms of statue, how their armor looks with a glossy, vibrant, shiny effect, which looks really great. I really love the way this looks. As you can see, they put a lot of detail on the latex here on the Shun's pants, I guess you can say, or latex pants or suit, which looks really great. You can see the ridges on it, which looks really detailed, and especially his armor, which I really do like. I love the vibrant pink of it, and they did a lot of details here on his arm. As you can see like muscles. Well, he's pretty a thin character, but it looks really great. Here's a top view where you connect his head. All in all, like I say, it looks really great. So this is actually the front view of it, and you can kind of see close up on the armor, which kind of has scratches and scrapes like it's in combat battle, like I said, which I think they were trying to represent, like he's burning his cosmos and he's battling. And here's more of a back view of that. You can see more of the latex body suit connected with the armor, which looks really detailed. You can see again more scratches and scrapes because he's in combat, or constant combat, which is funny because he's more of a pacifist fighter, but he still fights if he needs to, which Shun's a really great character, which I'll get more into when they change his gender, but we'll get that towards the end. Here we have his other leg, which you could kind of see more scrapes, scratches, and like the effect on that looks really great. Here we have his back, which you actually connect the chain here on the back side, which is that hole. A lot of details on his suit, like I said, the ridges on it, and also you can kind of see little creases because he is like has his leg a little bit more upwards, so it creases the fabric, which looks really great. A lot of details and shading, which I really do like. And again with his armor, which looks really great. I love the glossy effect, and it looks pretty good. Here we have the back side of his arm, which you can kind of see more detail on that, which for some reason his right arm doesn't come connected, but his left is. But you do get the right hand that you got to connect, which comes with the whole arm, shoulder pad, which we'll be showing later on in the video. But not really much bad I can say about this. It looks really great. I'm really loving the way it came out. Excited to put this all together and see how it looks. But other than that, not really much else to show you, so we're gonna be moving on to the next piece of the statue. So this is one of the rocks you do get. You get a pair of 3 that you have to put into the base, which I'm not really gonna spend too long on this. It's basically almost the same thing with a purplish, brownish, or purplish grayish effect, and this goes on the side hole here. Here's another rock which goes on the side. I don't know why that sounds funny, but yeah, it's not really too much. I'm not going to delve too much into it, which goes on the little hole here, and the same effect as it has on the base is like a purple-ish, sparkly type grayish effect on it. And here we have is a bigger rock, which now that I think of it, I think the purplish shine they gave the rock is actually reflected off the like light effect, or the sparkling or flame effect that you see around the base. So it's supposed to be like, since it's flames or blue sparks, it's reflecting off the rock, which I think they were trying to go by, or which we're trying to do. So here we have is the swirl effect, and the ox goes here and this peg hole goes inserted at the same time here on the side. But as I stated before, do be really careful with this because it says it's supposed to be fragile, so do not put too much force into it and don't put too much pressure when connecting it. So do be careful when handling this. So here we have is Shun's Andromeda swirl, or galaxy here in the back, which I really do love the rocks, the addition of rocks swirling around it. It looks really great. I love the detail work they actually place. You can kind of see it's more of a sparkly effect on the ends of each of these swirls, and the little rock effects which are flowing around into the galaxy, which looks really great. I really do love that. But I feel like they could have gave us something different. But before I get into that, I did want to say this piece feels a little bit fragile, so try not to hold on to it too tightly from the sides, because there's some small points sticking out of the swirl, so it could kind of like latch onto your clothes, or it did on mine. So just be careful when handling this. Here's the back view of the swirl. You can kind of see more rocks flowing around, which looks really great. I'm loving the way it looks. So here's a more of a side view of the actual swirl, which looks really great. You can kind of see more of the sparkly effect they gave on the sides of the galaxy swirl, which looks great nonetheless. But as I say, I'll probably leave off my opinion about this towards the end. So here we have his Shun's left hand. So he has more of an open palm, which he doesn't really come with much of a swappable hand. So this is the only one you do get. You can see they gave a lot of pretty nice detail work here. You can see he does have the knuckles, the armor around it, and the chain strapped around his hand. And just like his armor, you can kind of see it does have battle damage on it, and it looks really detailed. I'm loving the way this looks, and I love the vibrant pink, kind of like close more to reddish. The pinkish reddish purplish type look of it looks really great. And other than that, I can't really say much about the hands. Let's just place this on the body. Here we have his Shun's right hand. So you can see it does come connected to the shoulder pad, and it looks really great. Same thing as his other left hand. You can see it has more of an open palm, and we can kind of see the nebula chain here, or the chains wrapped around his hand, which looks really great. I kind of do like his armor, the way it looks with the chains around it. It looks really great. Here we have his shoulder pad here, which does have battle damage, and you kind of see his hand here, which they did give a detail. You can see a little bit of almost like lines of muscles, which looks really great. And I do really like the way it's painted and how it's sculpted out. It looks really great. And as I said before, the chain looks really great. Oh yeah, and here's the little spot where you actually place a little swirl effect on. So let's just place this right here on his body and attach it together. So here we have his Shun's head. So this is actually one of the option heads you got. This is the regular version of the head, which goes more of an art style of Prime 1, which looks actually really great. I really like the way it looks. You can kind of see the hair, which I think all of them have the exact same hair, but as you can see here, I love the detail work here. They almost gave it a lot of layers, or almost like the Saint Seiya franchise. A lot of the characters have large hair, and it kind of like moves around like in a wave, which if you've seen the series, you get what I'm talking about. Here we have his I guess you can call it tiara headband, which you can see it looks really great detail work. As I stated, be really careful with this because the points of his hair is actually really spiky, and you can see I like the layering here of the hair. It could I feel you can kind of flick the hair and snap it, So do be careful when holding on to this, because this is pretty sharp, and if you're wearing gloves like me, I feel like you can accidentally flick it and break it. So do be careful. But besides that, I really love the way the hair looks. All the layering of hair, or the lines of a lot of hair, it gives it a lot of detail, and it looks really great. Here we have is the second optional head you do get, or the swappable head you do get. So here we have is a closer look of his tiara, which I'm going to say. Here we have his face, more of an open mouth, like he's yelling Nebula Chain. And as you can see here side by side, it looks really detailed. You can kind of see inside of the mouth, which looks really great. I always love the set when they have more of a facial expression on their face. And like I said before, I don't really think there's much of a difference between each of the heads, or from what I saw, there's not really much of a difference. They did a lot of detail work on his neck, but like I said, I really do love the way the hair looks. You can see all these layerings of hair, like a top, bottom, lower bottom section of the hair, and it really fits. It looks really great, and the amount of detail they did put on it looks really great. But as I stated before, do be careful when handling this. I feel like if you place it down wrong, or if you place it too quick or flick it, you can actually break it. So do be careful with this when you are handling it. So here we have is the bonus version head, which is actually based off the mangaka style. And you can see here we have more of an anime-ish type, manga-ish Shun face, which I'm obviously going to keep, which is the reason why I got this version. Like I have Iki and Shiryu, I'm obviously going to place Shun with this head, which is the reason why I got it. And a lot of detail work here on the hair. As I stated, I'm gonna say it a third time, I don't really think there's much of a difference between hairs. You can see his tiara on his head, and besides that, a lot of detail work here on the hair, and it looks really great. So like I said, I don't really think there's much of a difference. It looks exactly the same, but I really love this face here because it has more of the mangaka or the anime style to it. So I will probably be using this to display it. So here is the head side by side with the regular Prime1Studio's design with the mangaka's face style. And as you can see here, I think the hair is exactly the same. Like I said before, I don't see much of a difference. If you guys do, you can pause the video and tell me if there is a difference, but besides the face, obviously different, I feel like it's exactly the same. So there's not really much of a difference. And just to say, here's the three heads on this flat surface to show you guys that all three hairs are exactly the same. Maybe there's a little bit of a difference, but you can pause the video, take a closer look at it, but I think they're exactly the same. The only difference is the facial expression and maybe a little bit different on the tiara, but other than that, they're exactly the same. So just for the video to go quicker, I'm not going to be showing you guys all the swappable heads on the body. I'll do that when I'm showing you guys the figure closer up towards the end. So, but for now, we're just going to keep the bonus version on the statue, and we're going to continue on the video. Do be careful when you are connecting this, because this is a magnet. So when you are placing it down, be real slow with it, because it gets close to the statue's body and it gets close to the shoulder pad here. So to prevent it from breaking or chipping, be slow when you're connecting this and don't let the magnet pull it. So here we have his left shoulder pad. As you can see, it does have battle damage. And like I said, I do love the way this looks. I love the paint job and it looks really great. So let's just connect this here to his left hand. So I did want to state this actually closes on top of his hair, so if you are going to switch his head, be sure to remove that shoulder pad, then remove his head, because you're going to knock the shoulder pad and drop it. So here we have his nebula chain from his right hand, which goes up as a swirl effect or a flamey purplish effect, which goes on the top, which kind of does look like a dragon's head, but maybe that's just me. And here we have is the triangle from his chain, and this goes to his right shoulder pad, or connects to the right shoulder pad, which in the chain connects to his hand. But I really love this effect. I don't think this is polystone. It's probably a mixed material, because this is actually made out of polystone and mixed material. So let's just connect here to the hand, as this peg hole goes into his left hand, no, his right hand, and the effect goes on his shoulder pad. So here we have is the longer nebula chain, which connects to his left hand, and this feels really delicate. And when I mean delicate, I don't mean the chain, I'm talking about the purple fire effect. So when you are moving this around, do be careful with that, because I feel like you can actually snap it off the chain, which is why I have it laying down here instead of showing you guys me holding onto it. But like I said, be careful with this, and this does wrap around him. So it goes to this hole here, and it goes to this peg here, which also turns around and connects to the back side here in this hole, and also all the way up to his left hand hole. So I will be showing you guys how to connect that right now. Here we have is the final effect. As you can see, here's a flame effect, and this goes into the last little hole here on the base, which you just place onto it. But just be careful, because this gets really close to the chain, and you don't want to accidentally bump into it and drop it and break it. So that should actually complete the whole statue. And as I said before, we are going to connect this USB Type-C and turn on the galaxy. So I did turn off the lights to show you guys the actual light up effect. So you just click it here and it should turn on. So this is how it would look when you light up the light up effect. And I'm a little bit disappointed. I feel like it should have added a little bit more LEDs onto the flame effect, which kind of would have made it a little bit more cooler. But it's not really like I use these LED effects anyways, but it would have been a lot cooler to have it around the base and not just the galaxy swirl. It's pretty not that bright. I know my camera makes it seem like it's super bright, but it's not that really that bright. As you can see when I focus on it, it's not really, you know, that glowy, you know. I don't know if that made sense, but that is the light up effect you do get when you turn on the light up LEDs, but not really much else to show you guys. Alright guys, so that's going to be the end of this one. So that was Prime1Studio's 1/4 scale polystone statue of the character Andromeda Shun, final bronze cloth bonus version from the series Knights of the Zodiac or Saint Seiya. all in all, I gotta say is I really love the way this statue came out, comparing it to the other statues in the line, such as Shiryu and Ikki. I really love this, and it looks really great. This is the reason why I got the bonus version, because it does come with the mangaka's original design face of the character, which is the reason why I'm probably gonna have this one displayed right next to the other characters that I do have of the series with the mangaka style face. So like I said before, the only negative, well, not really negative, I feel like it could have been a little bit different, it could have done, which is this galaxy swirl you do have in the background, which is supposed to be the Andromeda galaxy. But comparing it to the other characters, I feel like this one's a little bit more underwhelming. I feel like they could have went with like almost like a Iron Studios or Queen Studios Andromeda figure, pink swirl figure of the Andromeda, rather than just the galaxy in the back. Because comparing it to Hyuga and Seiya that are upcoming, and comparing it with Ikki and Shiryu, I feel like this one's a little bit more of an underwhelming piece. Because comparing to all of those, you have a big symbol of their constellation, and comparing it to Shun's, it's a little bit underwhelming with just a little galaxy swirl on the back. Like I said, I really love the way the statue looks. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about changing the gender of Shun in the newer Netflix adaptation. All I gotta say is I do not like it. I kind of feel like it changes the character Shun of what he was supposed to be representing in the original Knights of the Zodiac or Saint Seiya. I feel like they should have just kept him a male, but I'm not gonna go too far into it, but let's just say I didn't like it. So like I said before, I am still getting statues, it's just that they're a little bit more expensive to acquire or get my hands on. So don't worry, there still will be statues coming up in the later future videos, but just give me a little bit more time with that. And also, what do you guys think of the way I unbox this statue? If you have any, feedback you can give me, please tell me it below, and I'll read it and I'll take it into consideration for my next unboxing of a statue. I know this video is probably a little bit more better from my older unboxings of statues. Like I said, I'm trying to improve the way I don't do these statue unboxings like I do with my regular figurine unboxings of smaller scale figures. So that's gonna be the end of this one, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So since this figure is more large, I can't really have it rotating in 360 because I don't have a large enough rotator to have this on. But I'll give you guys off with close-up shots of the statue and on different angles, film different angles of the statues and closer shots on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
見つめ